This hour we are joined by a medical expert in the field of drugs and substance abuse. We have Dr. Emmanuel Nzuzu for an in-depth analysis of this situation. Doctor, good morning.
Good morning.
Very good to have you on our show this morning.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Doctor, we hear that there is overcrowding in the mental facilities and hospitals and prisons. What does this signal?
The overcrowding of hospitals and prisons is a two-sided issue.
Okay.
There's the institutional support which people are supposed to get when they go there. That's the one side. Then there's the individual contribution. People go to hospitals for healing, and that should be the focus.
Yeah.
So for a person to experience healing, there should be desire, and no one can give you desire except yourself. There should be belief that you can get better.
Yeah.
There should also be the expectation that you can get better. Now, if you talk to many of these people, the desire might be very weak.
Yeah.
The belief that they can get better is very weak too. The expectation that they can get better is maybe not there.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to help people who have very little desire, very little belief that they can get better, it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
I know there are institutional facility problems, but if people can raise their desire, their expectation, their belief that they can get better, things can improve, even with the current conditions. But of course, the support needs to be there too.
So we see that there is obviously this overcrowding in the rehabilitation centers, and you are highlighting the fact that as an individual, there's low desire to get better. So as doctors for these patients, how are you managing the rising scourge of people that are coming and being put into these rehabilitation centers? Are there enough doctors at hand to help, or what is really the formula for helping a patient move out of a rehabilitation center?
We need a model which helps people to go inside themselves.
Okay.
Because when people go to hospitals and all those other places, they look outside believing that help will come from outside, which is good, but there is also help which is supposed to be inside. Inside, you are looking at what do you believe about the situation you are in?
Yeah.
What do you think about the situation you are in? How do you feel about the situation you are in? What is your mood, your attitude?
Yeah.
Now, you can get external help, but if you look at what you are thinking and what you're believing about what is going on, that will help to reduce the problems.
Okay.
But most of the programs going on now don't touch the inside, and so the overcrowding is going to continue.
Yeah.
But if we can, there is a model to help people to go inside. You know, you talk to a person, what do you believe about alcohol?
Yeah.
What do you believe about drugs? When they think and process that, they will say, oh yeah, my believing is the problem.
Yeah.
My thinking is the problem. So you go inside. We need a model to take people inside.
Yeah.
And then with external support, then things can work. But a lot of external support with little inside, re-examination will continue to have overcrowding hospitals and facilities.
And in your experience, what do you think is leading a lot of the young men and women into drug abuse, and how best can it be addressed? We know you have written books, and maybe you can then share with us some of the methods probably that you have included in this book.
Yeah. I've been doing research for over 17 years, dealing with people who come for help, go back home, continue to do drugs. So at some point I said, what's going on here? Let's see what exactly is going inside these people. So much of what drives addiction to alcohol and drugs is self-deception, dishonesty, untrustworthiness. Look at it this way. When people do drugs and alcohol, they don't get benefits from it. They actually lose a lot. Why does a person continue to do something that is harming you?
Yeah.
Why does a person continue to do something that gets him in trouble? It's because of self-deception to yourself. It's because of dishonesty to yourself. It's because you are not being trustworthy to yourself. So those are the major drivers. The other things we talk about, yeah, they contribute. But the major contribution is the self-deception, lying to yourself that drugs are good for me, drugs are my friends, drugs will help me to overcome loneliness and boredom. You know, those are the things that drive the using. You know, people continue to do self-abuse and do nothing about it.
Now, you know, you have some survivors of drug addiction.
Yes.
Have you had an experience where some of the survivors have fallen back into this whole spiral of going back again into drug and substance abuse?
There is a lot of people who, you know, complete a program and go back to using. I know one guy who, in a space of 3 months, had gone through 30 programs.
Wow.
You know, and you know, every time he went back to drinking, every time he went back to drinking. And I was asking this fellow, and I said, did you learn anything from those 30 programs?
Yeah.
If you learned anything from those 30 programs, how much of that are you using?
Yeah.
And then I see that he was having the same beliefs,
That he had before.
the same thoughts, the same feelings, the same mood, the same attitude towards alcohol and drugs. How do you change when you are using the same beliefs that created problem to create sobriety? The same thoughts, you can't change.
Yeah.
So that's what I established. So people go back because the thinking and the believing has not changed.
Has not changed at all.
Yes.
But I do know, as Mugo had mentioned, that you have written some material to
Yes.
help the mind stay sober and on a correct path. Is this is the stuff that we find in this? I see this is a facilitator's manual. Obviously, this is the programs that you teach.
Yes.
In this one,
Yes.
and this is a practical guide to overcoming alcoholism. I'll just show on the camera now. It's a practical guide to overcome alcoholism and drug addiction, and then there's a facilitator's manual. Obviously, you do hold programs.
And
yes, and then there's this one
the
again.
workbook.
Yes, this one is the workbook to help you overcome. So, I mean, there's so much material that Dr. Nzuzu has written, and obviously he has said that this is a 17-year-old platform that you have done research in finding out the human mind and how people are actually, why people are in these addictive situations.
Yeah, exactly. So the main textbook is how to overcome addiction to alcohol and drugs.
Okay.
That's the main textbook. So the textbook goes
Textbook?
work hand in hand with the workbook.
Workbook?
Yeah.
Which is
so
this
those
one?
are the two books which
Okay.
work together.
Okay. And this is for the facilitator.
For the facilitators
Okay.
to facilitate what is in the
What
books.
is in this material.
Yes.
Now, thank you so much, Dr. Nzuzu, for joining us right here on Morning Rush. I mean, drug abuse is something that is really now coming uncontrollable in our country. And, you know, it's thanks to people like you who has the heart for people to make sure that they don't stay in this spiral. Now, where do we find these books?
Those books are available on Amazon.
They're available on Amazon?
Yeah.
Okay. So there you have it, everybody. These books are available for you on Amazon. And for people to come to you, how do they find you here?
I am setting up a website, and I'll make that public very soon.
Public. Okay. And it will be under Dr. Emmanuel Nzuzu?
It will be under my name.
Right, so you
yes.
can just Google that, Dr. Emmanuel Nzuzu, and you'll have all the information that you need. There is no excuse now. We do have help for you, maybe who is an addict, or for you who know and have family members who are addicted to drugs and substance abuse. Now, that's all we've had in the first segment of the second hour.